So hi everyone, today in this video we're gonna develop another solutions for another type of problems that we face in our day-to-day life. And obviously it holds with the focus to show you or you by using some of the mental models that are like patterns that you take from what seems to happen in real life. You can so apply them in being so patterns that are in the solutions that you created, and so they're most well fitted for the problems that you face, and then you're much more likely to show a solution that efficiently can solve the problem because you know better the reality, because you observe better the mental models and you apply them in your solutions. And then what's going to be today the talk about, we're going to talk so about the global connection crisis. So what do you have? We have 33% of adults that report having no close friends, up from 3% that it was the percentage in 1990. We have socioeconomic tool, which seems to be that loneliness costs 7 trillion a year in lost productivity in healthcare. This is a study taken from Harvard. And then obviously we need to start to look for solutions for that problem. Some as well of the root causes, so digital saturation, urban design flaws, transitional cultures, and eroded social rituals. So we need to start looking for this problem because it seems to be so something that you should develop solution towards because it seems to be a rising problem. So first we have the hedonic treadmill. Chasing shallow connections was the idea. We adapt to digital dopamine hits, needing more for less fulfillment. And then so what's the impact that it has in the problem that we have? Is that so these digital dopamine hits, they are so normally actions that are not the ones that the building of a relationship brings to the action that are needed to build a relationship. So normally we work and we take actions with the expectation of getting something back from having so taken that action. And normally the building of relationship, having a relationships, it takes much more than just like short, small pleasures. And then this seems so to contribute for not so having these building of relationships because they are not much easy. The first time of the year is so we getting shy and then we have to interact with people. Then obviously the building and what can come with the relationship wherever it is. So we're talking about a bit one that is more like love like getting a boyfriend and girlfriend was like the end goal of you having a girlfriend and boyfriend is you kind of have that much of deep connection, but this deep connection is kind of to get built. You rely a lot in time in having experience, and this so by taking time and we're getting so adapted with so easy type of pleasures, easy to get, you cannot and you will prefer so not to spend your time in a long-term type of positive outcome that is so the ones that the relationships brings. But then, what's the fix? By knowing that we have this tendency in the world that we're living, that we're kind of a well-being, that we're getting adapted to levels of dopamine, that so then to make us have these actions of building relationships with others. So what are the fixes? Slow interaction zones like the Netherlands, no phones cafes, and patterns locked devices that make conversation depth increase 70%, and dopamine detox apps that Japan's monomode blocks social media after 10 minutes has made ERL meetups increase 3 times. So it's basically it's making easy the action of some of people having conversations by, for example, so making it more difficult to take other type of actions that are not so the ones that builds relationships. So making it easier to have conversations, for example. Second, pluralistic ignorance. Everyone prefers digital. What's the idea? People falsely assume others don't want deep connection, and it's something that comes. People are shy because they expect that others will not so get reciprocity. But then how to fix this idea? We have the vulnerability flash mobs. The Brazil's public confession booths has made 87 participants made new friends. And these are transparency alerts. The dating apps show 92% users crave deep convos as reduces the small talk. 3. Proximity principles. Nearness over algorithms. The idea physical closeness builds bonds. Apps tends to perturb them is what this methodology tends to say. But then so what are the fixes? By knowing this, we have the 15 minutes community hubs, the Paris managed free co-working spaces made neighbor trust increase 40%. And analog matching, the New York City's token email delivers and write notes to nearby strangers, has made pen pals become ERL friends. 4. A citizen paradox, turning people into social capital. What's the idea? Relationships become transactional portfolios, and then so what's the fix? By knowing this, we have the gift economy dia hose, the Bally's karma coin that rewards selfless acts as redeemable for experiences, not cash. And anti-networking events, the Berlin's no LinkedIn nice banks job talk has made that authenticity increase 90%. 5. We have the epistemic bubbles. Isolation of worldviews. What's the idea? Algorithms tend to trap us in ideological silos, but then so what's the fix by knowing this tends to happen? We have the contrarian dinner parties. The Canada's app pairs opposite, as and so reduced 80% of the polarization. And empathy algorithms. The Reddit's breach feed forces exposure to opposing subreddits, and it's something that we've seen a lot. So what makes us hard to have relationships with others? It don't need to be that much of a hard type of relationships. It can be relationships with other ones, like in terms of a person that I don't know, but I have to kind of have exposure to them normally in our society, and I need so to have the cohesion of a society to obviously increase the quality of all the society economically talking. It needs so to have this cohesion, this type of minimal respect. And the reality is that this bubble that people tend to stay because the algorithms are made so to so just exposed to us what seems that we tend to like. The reality is that these decrease our ability, and then so we because we're not training the skill of leading with what so is different than us, and then this polarization makes us so not having the ability to deal with people different than us, which so makes harder the construction of relationships, makes harder to maintain the cohesion of a society as well. And then obviously it's something that's bad, and then so it's a problem, it's a mental model, it's a pattern that we're seeing it, and then so we need to develop fixes for that, and so I have gave some of tips. 6. The hysteresis effect. So past hurts freeze future bonds. What's the idea? Trauma creates rational relational inertia. And then so by knowing that, what's the fix? We have the social rehab clinics in South Africa's group therapy gyms as combat isolation, more PTSD, and digital trauma resected violence, VR, so virtual reality app, and shame rebuilds trust through virtual scenarios. That's important because one of other things that's difficult for people to make relationships is as well based in traumas that they've got in the past. So if we're able to making people rehabilitate, so getting the process to so being now as well much easier as much as the past 3 years, so the experience that make them have the trauma. Getting able to as much as possible to people to get and being the ability to socialize again as much as fast as possible, and so develop and seeing what psychology seems to say. And virtual reality is an example of a good strategy, and this comes from development of technology. 7. We have the counter mimicry. And what's that? Coping avoidance, not connection. What's the idea? We mimic others' emotional withdrawal. And so what's the fix by knowing that? We have the courage contagion campaigns. Child pays influencers to share awkward social attempts as normalized risks. That's really important. So we to make it easier so to people to get relationship as well, so making it less harder to deal with what comes bad with the attempts of so building a relationship, and then this normalizing of so getting rejected and things like that. Add facts pass amnesty days. The Italy suspends judgment for social blunders has made anxiety reduce 65%. That's important. 8. The Dunbar's layerings. 150 isn't enough. So what's the idea? Modern life requires nested circles of connection. And then so what's the fixes by that? Trips taking the Denmark's housing co-ops with 3 intimacy tiers, 50, 5, 50, and 500 people. Made loneliness reduced 80%. And digital campfires, the VR platforms like TogetherNet, host small group storytelling has made emotional bandwidth increase 3 times. So with that video, I expect it was enough to may like this channel. I expect it was enough you to see what's the proposal of this channel. Always looking for for problems, looking for some mental models, patterns that you take from older studies of all fields of study, psychology, science, whatever it is, and then building solution if you don't have someone that has like all the studies in the field. So with that, I expect it was enough to like the video, to like this channel, and then to subscribe it. And I hope to see in other videos that this channel is about to produce. So with that much more to say, just thank you and see you in the next one.